Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something that I'm really excited to do, and I keep seeing a bunch of people doing it, but we're going to be talking about the 23 books I want to get to in 2023. It's going to be a mix of books that I already have on my shelf and books that I obviously want to get, because next year there's a ton of books coming out that I am dying to get. So let's just get right into this. And at the end of this video, we're going to be talking about my 5-star predictions because they are in this list. So we'll just quickly go back over what I think my 5-star predictions are going to be. First up on this list is actually one that I really should have read this year, but I really didn't want to because the first one left off on a cliffhanger. So I want to wait for the second book or the third book to come out before I read the second one. And that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. And then book number 2 is A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber. So those are my first 2 books that I really want to read in the new year. Obviously the second or the third one's not going to come out for a while, but I plan on reading the second book early in the next year, and that way it'll be fresh in my mind for when the third one comes out, but I'm not reading them like back to back to back. Then I really need to finish the Prison Healer series. I loved the first book, so I really need to get to The Gilded Cage and The Blood Trader. So those, I really need to get to those. I'm really excited. I don't know why I keep putting it off. I always put off books. Like I read the first one and then the next books aren't out, and then I put off the rest of the series even when they come out. Like I have both books upstairs. Like I have them. I just haven't gotten to them. So I do plan on finishing that series very early in the new year, if not starting them by the end of December. The next 2 books that I want to read, this is starting off as like clumps because they're series that I want to finish or start, and the next book is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. I am 1000% putting this off on purpose because it is a very long time until the second book comes out, which is my next book on this. It's Untitled by Chloe Gong because they don't have a title out yet, and I'm putting it off because I love these, like I loved her first books. Oh my gosh, I love them. So, but I remember being distraught when I didn't have the second book. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. So probably 2 months before the second book, because I think it's just a duology, before the second book comes out, I'll read the first one. I'll read Foul Lady Fortune. So that way I have the next book coming out in like 2 months. The next one that I read is going to be kind of my stretch goal. And I was really supposed to read it this year. Like I got this book with the intention of reading it this year for a reading vlog, and I didn't do it, and it's Misery by Stephen King. I have only ever read one Stephen King book, and it was the novella, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I really liked that book, but anytime I try and start another Stephen King, I don't like it. I don't like the writing style. So I got Misery because it's shorter, and I really liked the movie, and it seems a little safer than his other books because I also have The Shining that I can read, and I did try and start that and I didn't love it, so I kind of like put it aside, and I kind of plan to get back to it. I don't know. I'm having a really hard time picking up Stephen King books because I just don't really want to read them. There's like a million other things I want to read, but at the same time, I feel like it's one of those bucket list things. Like I would need to read a Stephen King full-length book, not just the novella I already read. The next one on my list is going to come as no surprise, but it is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Again, no surprise. Yeah, I read Ninth House and I literally loved that book so much. It may be one of my favorite books ever. And I'm surprised because I put it off for months because other people did not like it. That's why I'm surprised Hellbent is getting so much like love and everyone's excited for it, because everyone I talked to was like, it's so boring. Ninth House is so boring. And I read it and I was like, this is amazing. So I'm really excited that everyone seems to have like come around and is super excited about this book, because I'm loving the hype for this book. I'm loving it because I am so excited. So I love that everybody else is also excited. The next one that I want to finish is it's gonna be a series finish, and it is Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I keep putting this one off because I didn't love the end of King of Scars. Like I like King of Scars. I actually really liked it. I don't know if I think these 2 books needed to exist. Like I don't know. I don't know about it. I'm not a big fan of one of the storylines because it feels weird after Six of Crows. Nina's storyline. I don't know. Like I spent so much time reading about Nina in Six of Crows and just like her struggle and her fight, and then to turn around and like make her struggle and fight again, it's hard to read. It's hard to read that story again. So that's like, But I don't know. I feel like Rule of Wolves is really going to tell me if I actually like this duology or not, because like I said, I really did not like the end of King of Scars. I don't like what they did. The next one coming out that I am so excited about is Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. I love her books. Every single book that I read from her is a 5-star. Like literally every single one. So I am so excited for this like mini story collection thing. I am so excited for it. The next one is kind of like a big surprise for me, but it's House of Roots and Ruin by Erin Craig. And that's because I loved House of Salt and Sorrow. Like literally loved that book. Normally it's not my kind of like style of book, but I loved it. Loved it. I actually look for books that are similar to that. Small Favors. I read that one. That one was very similar in vibe. I love that one too. So apparently this like creepy nature stories I like, and this seems like this is going to be one of them too. The next one that's coming out is Never a Hero by Vanessa Len. It's a continuation of Only a Monster. I loved Only a Monster, so I am so excited for this one to come out. I remember literally everything that happened in the story, which is thank God, because I think this book is coming out in January, so I can get it pretty soon, and I don't have to agonize over remembering what happened, so I'm super excited. The next one that I want to read is also, I feel like, no surprise to anyone, but it is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I cannot wait for this one. I'm a huge Holly Black fan. Like, I have all of her books. Almost all of them have been 5 stars. I love Tithe, Valiant, and what is it, Ironside. I loved those books. I loved the Cruel Prince series, except for that last one, Queen of Nothing. That was not good. That was not good. But the stories afterwards, what was it? The Prince of Elfhame Hates story, something like that. That, I feel like it's a rule. If you need a set of short stories to make the end of a series good, it's a problem. And it is a problem, because you needed that thing of short stories. So I'm really excited to read this one, because this is following her little brother, Oak. And I'm guessing we're gonna get glimpses of like of Jude and Carden. So I'm really excited to see that, and I hope like you do see them in the book a little bit. Next one on my list is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I am so excited for this. It feels like it's been forever since I read the Brown Sisters series, and I cannot wait to read something else by Talia Hibbert that isn't the book that was on my worst books of the year, because I went and read one of her like backlist books. It was not good. So I'm hoping this is going to be as good as the Brown Sisters books, and I am so excited to read it, and I just cannot wait. I cannot wait to read it. The next book is Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. So this one's a little like outside. I feel like this is the first book that like isn't popular. Like the rest I didn't feel the need to like tell you about, because everyone's heard of them. This next one is supposed to be following like a group of ghost hunters, and yes, I don't know if I believe in that stuff, but my husband and I watch Discovery Channel all the time and Travel Channel all the time, and are like obsessed with ghost hunting shows, and I cannot wait to read a book. I've been waiting for a book that follows like ghost hunting. Like I've been dying to read a book that follows ghost hunting. So I'm really excited, and I'm curious to see like what this book is going to be about. And of course the next one is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Guys, it's a Grady Hendrix book. I have to have it on here. Although I haven't read like a ton of his backlist, but I loved the Final Girl support group. I know a lot of people did not. I loved the campiness, and that's what I wanted from like a horror slasher. That book was exactly what I wanted from a horror slasher, because it was campy, over the top, paranoid. I loved it. I loved that book. So I cannot wait to see like what this one is going to be about. And of course, I feel like this list wouldn't be complete without a Riley Sager book, the only one left. I am going into it blind. I haven't read like anything about it. I just know that it exists. I've seen the cover, and I am so excited to read it, because I pretty much like it. He can write crap, and I'll probably end up liking it. I am one of those people. I'm sorry. I know most people are not, but that's just who I am as a person. The next one coming out, I had to include it because I know I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna hate read it. I'm gonna hate read it. It's Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. I feel like I liked most of the last book. I got really bored, but I liked her little like excerpts. I loved the excerpts about horror. Like, she writes about horror stuff before the chapters and goes into like explanations, and it is a wild ride. Like, it is a psychological mind meld kind of thing going on. I just really didn't like how it ended. And I think I really didn't like how it ended because I didn't know there was a second book. So I was expecting one thing to happen, and a completely different, grotesque, weird, blew my mind thing happened. Like, didn't see it coming, was super confused, had to reread the last chapter like 6 times to try and understand what was happening, and it really didn't help. I'm still a little confused what happened, so I'm gonna read the second one. I'm gonna read the second one to see what the heck happened and what the heck I missed, because apparently I'm too dumb for this book. Like, apparently. And so I'm gonna see what happens. And yeah, I'm guessing it's gonna be a 1, but we'll see what happens. The next one that's coming out is by Evie Dunmore, and it's the next one in like the League of Gentlewomen, whatever it's called. And this one's called The Gentleman's Gambit. I really didn't like the last one. I think the last one was Portrait of a Scotsman. The previous books, 5 stars, all of them. And then Portrait of a Scotsman came out, and I was like, this is gonna be 5 stars. I really didn't like it. So now I'm really nervous going into this next one because it was such a shock that I didn't like it. Like, I think it was like a 2. I think it was like a 2, which is unbelievable. Going from 2 5-star books to a 2. So I'm upset about it, and I'm really nervous for this one, but I'm optimistically nervous. But it's definitely not going to be one of my 5-star predictions because I don't trust after that last book. The next one is Vera Wong's, I gotta read this one, this is a long one. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Satano. So, I'm really excited for this one. This is probably gonna be one I read with my mom because, what was it, 4 Weddings, what are the books called? I don't know. She's written the other 2 books, and they're cute little murder mystery things. And the first one, I don't remember what it was called, but it was about her family's like wedding planners, and she accidentally kills somebody, and the body is like put into the wedding, so they have to figure out how to get the body out without anyone noticing. And one of her old flames from years ago shows up. So it was really, really cute. And then the second one was their wedding and disaster, mayhem, mafia stuff going on. So this author is really funny, so I'm probably going to pick this up and also send my mom a copy, and we'll read that one together. The next one that's coming out is also one going into completely blind because it's a I have the hardest time with that name, T. Kingfisher book, and it is called A House with Good Bones. I don't know anything about it, but I know I really, really like The Hollow Places, and I haven't picked up anything else. Well, I have What Moves the Dead? Something like that, and Nettle and Bone. I haven't read either one, but I have them. But I'm just nervous because Hollow Places was so good that I'm just nervous to pick something else up. That's a little old. Like, that's What Moves the Dead is newer, but it's totally different. I don't know. Every book of theirs is like totally different vibes. So I'm just kind of like nervous, but I also really want to read this one because the cover looked really creepy, and I'm excited. I'm just excited. I saw T. Kingfisher, and I'm like, I gotta read it. Even though I haven't read that many, but whatever. The next one, we are down to our last 2. And the next one is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I loved Part of Your World, and so this book is like top priority to read. This is a top priority book that I'm dying to read because it sounds so good, and I was so impressed with Part of Your World that if this one is also as good as Part of Your World, Abby Jimenez will easily be listed in my favorite authors because it was just funny, emotional, sad, happy. I mean, literally everything was in that book. So I have very high expectations for this next book. So I'm like, please let this not have been like a fluke and let this be good. And the last one on this list, I didn't know if I was going to include it because I'm a little disappointed with the last one, and I'm like, is this book just going to be the same as the last two? But it is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I know I'm going to read it when it comes out, so I'm like, I need to put it on this list because it is part of one of the books that I am excited about, but I'm also nervous because it's the first two books, her descriptions of things were so similar. Like, I'm really sick of the, I'm so tiny, he's so big, I'm so it's constant. It's constant. And then I got really annoyed with some of the last book. Like, the last book was not a 5 stars. The first book was. I loved A Love Hypothesis. The second book, Love on the Brain, had some things I got a little annoyed at, and it had some, she was too oblivious. She was too oblivious, too obnoxious. There was too many, like, she literally wore her wedding ring after she got divorced, and it caused a bunch of problems. She's like, or no, she didn't, she wore her mom's ring or something, or grandmother's ring on her wedding finger, and she had been divorced. So of course people are gonna be like, oh, you really didn't get divorced. And it caused so many like issues and misunderstandings that it got so annoying. I hate misunderstandings to that extent. It was constant. And so I had such an issue with parts of that book. I still enjoyed it. I think I still get it 4. So I'm like, maybe she's learned from that, because people really like were outspoken about that. Like, hey, you need to switch it up a little bit. Like, make your characters different. They're not carbon copies every single book. Although it sounds like this one is another carbon copy. It's 2 physicists, I think. And she, on this, what was it? Our main character is a physicist. She's trying to get tenure by day. By night, she hires herself out as a fake girlfriend. And one of her clients, it's going to be the older brother of one of her clients, who's cold, distant, stares at her. And it's like, I'm loving it, like the idea, but it also sounds exactly the same as the last 2. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay. We'll see though. We'll see if she tones down the misunderstandings, like, and tones down the main, because she makes her main authors, who are incredibly smart, seem like idiots. Like, legitimately seem like idiots because they can't catch on to anything. So I'm hoping she tones that down, and then she tones down like the I'm small, like, we get it. Say it once, we're not gonna forget. We're not gonna forget, I promise. And some of the sex scenes are a little weird. Like, there was a line in that first one, I Love Hypothesis, that was weird. So hopefully she tones that down a little bit. I don't remember that much from Love on the Brain, but I remember that line from A Love Hypothesis because it was weird. It was real weird. Anyway, those are my 23 books of 2023. I'm really, really excited. I think I'm going to get to all of them. The ones that I would be the most concerned about not getting to are the Gilded Cage and the Blood Trader, because it's an old series. And also Foul Lady Fortune and Untitled by Chloe Gong, because I may just put them off because I'm nervous about not liking them as much as these Violent Delights. So those are like the 2 that those books I'm nervous about not reading. Everything else I think I'm going to get to. I think I will read in 2023, which is really exciting. Okay, from this list, let's talk about my 5-star predictions. I really want to do this so that next year, at the end of the year, we can go through and see if they were actually 5 stars. And I really want to do this in general, so next year I can say, hey, did I actually read all 23 of these books? I think I've set myself up for success, to be honest. Like, none of these are like out of reach. Or I guess Misery is the one that I'm like, so I really need to start on Misery in January, even if it takes me the whole year to read. Maybe that's what I'll do. Read a chapter, or like 3 chapters a month, and then I'll get through it. Okay, anyway, let's talk about the 5-star predictions. I definitely think The Ballad of Never After and A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber are going to be 5 stars. I don't see any reason why they're not. Every single book in the Caraval series was a 5-star, and Once Upon a Broken Heart was a 5-star. I just don't see any reason this would not be a 5-star series. Next on my list, Foul Lady Fortune and Untitled by Chloe Gong. Those are 5-star predictions because I cannot express enough my love for these Violent Delights and these Violent Ends. I loved those books. So I am so excited for Foul Lady Fortune, and it's why I keep putting it off, because I'm really nervous. But I think both of those will also be 5 stars. Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like it's gotta be an easy 5-star, although I'm a little nervous about this one because this is a darker series compared to her other ones, and I'm nervous she may kill off our main character or kill off somebody I really like. And if they don't end up, if two characters don't end up together, it will not be a 5-star. Although again, I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a duology either, or there's going to be more. So that's also going to depend what star I give it depending on what happened. Next one is Mystery of Thorns Manor. I feel like it's just like short stories though, so I think it's short stories, right? I know it's like a novella. I don't know if it's short stories or a novella. So I think this is gonna be 5 stars. I've given every single one of her books 5 stars, so I don't see why this wouldn't be 5 stars. This one's possibly a stretch, but House of Roots and Ruin by Erin Craig, I am saying is going to be 5 stars. Because I gave House of Salt and Sorrow 5 stars, so I'm really nervous because this one's definitely going to be one that I'm like more iffy on, that if it's going to be 5 stars or not. The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, I already told my reasons. I basically said it's going to be 5 stars. Everything is 5 stars that Holly Black does except for Queen of Nothing. So I don't see why this would be any different than the other books. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I give everything he does 5 stars except for I even gave Survive the Night 5 stars. It's probably more of a 4, but I really liked it. I'm sorry. And I think I gave House Across the Lake 4. So I'm hoping we get back up to 5 stars for his books. The next one that I think is going to be 5 stars is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I am hoping and praying that this is going to be 5 stars. I feel like the reason it would not be 5 stars is because my hopes are so high up for this one, but it sounds so good, and there's it just sounds so cute when you read the synopsis. So I think this is gonna be 5 stars, and I'm going to hope that until I read it. And the last one, and shockingly, this is like a hope and a prayer, is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I'm going to say that she has learned from her last book and has edited down some of those things that people complained about. I'm going to put my hope on that she has learned from what people have said, and maybe her editors have okay, this is actually kind of a problem, and edited down stuff in the book. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. I'm gonna say it's 5 stars. I'm nervous about that one, but I think it's 5 stars. I think it's gonna be 5 stars. I'm gonna choose to believe that she has learned. So those are my books, 23 books of 2023, and my 5-star predictions. I am so excited for next year. I feel like next year's gonna be such a good reading year because there's so many good things coming out, lots of ends to series coming out, and starts of some new ones that I'm not gonna start because I'm trying to prioritize already started series and my shelves. I really, really need to prioritize what I already have, which is a lot. I think I was counting how many books I have in my TBR, or that I physically own. My physically owned TBR, and it's over 350 books. Which is sad because I have 400 books that I've read also in my house. I have a lot of books. I have this library filled with books, and then I have my room, which is filled with books, and then we have our movie room, which is filled with books, and one of our spare rooms has a bookshelf in it too. So yeah, I think I have over 350 books on my physical TBR. So I really want to go through and count how many I have and try and set a goal for the end of the year, because my book buying is really bad. So, but anyway, getting off a topic here, that is the video for today. Really weird way to end that. Make sure you subscribe for more end of year content. This is really fun to film, actually. This was fun. All this end of year content is really fun to film, although it's just a lot. I'm trying to keep up with everything, and it's just a lot to film. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Make sure you like the video. Comment down below if you also want to read any of these books, what your most anticipated book is for next year. I would love to hear what it is, because I could always add more to my list, which is, like I said, a problem. But anyway, that's all I have for you today, so I will see you in the next video.